Friday Night Funkin mods. Okay, just hear me out for a second. So we've entered a bit of a drought for Pibby content. Honestly, I would anticipate that maybe there will be a new short or a little bit of news about the series coming this Halloween, just like there was last year, you know, when it first came out. There's no evidence of this at all, so don't like actually take that as fact. That's my expectation anyways. I think turning this into like a holiday sort of thing would make sense. It'd be pretty wild if they did that too, because a new Mystery Skulls animated video will probably release around that same time. And that's something I also have to cover a ton on my channel, so I'm going to be very busy if they do that. But anyways, since there isn't any new Pibby info to discuss for a little while, we need to make up some new video topics. And today, I've got something that I hope you'll all enjoy. I've been meaning to make a video like this for a while, but I just didn't know what kind of topic to cover, and then I thought that, well, this one would make a lot of sense. So welcome to the Learning with Pibby Iceberg Explained. This is a video where I'll be running through a series of obscure Pibby facts and theories, in order from well-known on the surface to very obscure in the abyss. This is an iceberg I made entirely by myself based on my own knowledge of the series and its fan base. So actually, there is a lot of room for this to be expanded. If you know any facts or theories that you would think would be a good fit for this iceberg, please feel free to share them in the comments of this video. It's very likely, especially after we get more official Pibby content, that I'll revisit this video and make a second, even more in-depth, information-filled iceberg video. So I'd appreciate any feedback here and additional content to put on the list. As iceberg videos usually are, this video will probably be pretty long, so I will be separating it into parts, and then also posting a compilation of all the parts put together, just like I did with my April Fool's analysis video. That just makes it easier for me to get these out because, you know, it takes a while to make this stuff. So without further ado, let's get started and dive down this deep, dark iceberg. Although honestly, if you watch my other videos, you might like know a lot of stuff I'm going to talk about here, but whatever. Let's get to it. Halloween trailer. This is where it all began, on Halloween 2021. Adultswim released the first short on their YouTube channel, Come and Learn with Pibby. It's a subversive short that starts off cute, and then turns into a tense horror trailer with dozens of cameos from well-known cartoons. It became a huge hit instantly due to the cool concept and crossovers. And at this point, it's even received more views than the incredibly popular Infinity Train pilot episode. While this is presented as a trailer, there was no actual show or episode made at this point. I'll talk about that a little more later on. April Fool's event. Adultswim is well known for doing elaborate events on their channel on the start of April Fool's Day at midnight. Usually this is things like airing a bad movie or even airing brand new shows or episodes way earlier than expected. In 2022, Adultswim brought upon the return of Learning with Pibby on April Fool's Day. They aired a series of reruns of their most popular shows like Rick and Morty and Aqua Teen Hunger Force, but occasionally during those reruns, had Pibby, Bun Bun, and The Darkness join in. The Darkness was taking over shows and even commercials during a 3-hour period on the channel. After those 3 hours, the exact same series of reruns with the same exact cameos aired once again. This series of reruns was also live streamed onto Adultswim's YouTube channel, and it can still be watched there as a recording and a compilation of just the crossover moments. Some cameos were super well done and terrifying, like this newly reanimated moment from Rick and Morty where Morty gets corrupted and contorts his body and starts screeching. It's really awesome, but many of the things they did were actually super brief and inconsequential. Like in Bird Girl, for example, Pibby and Bun Bun show up for maybe literally a second. It's still a cool visual, but nothing was really as interesting as the Rick and Morty rerun, which was the first thing that aired. If you want an even closer look into all the cameo scenes from April Fool's Day 2022, please check out my previous analysis video here on my channel. I go really in-depth into it. Nickelodeon cameos. Nickelodeon is an international kids entertainment channel that, I mean, you hopefully know about. It's a direct rival to Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. It's very rare for these channels to ever have any sort of crossover or reference to each other. Like Cartoon Network shows are nominated on the Kids' Choice Awards sometimes, but, well, they never win. It's always SpongeBob. There's also a lot of references in the series Mad, but nobody likes to talk about that anymore. Though in Pibby, there are several references to Nickelodeon series, such as SpongeBob and Rocko's Modern Life. Now keep in mind that these are just references, that's why they're able to get away with it. Nickelodeon doesn't have anything to do with the production of Learning with Pibby. The creators of Learning with Pibby are just referencing Nickelodeon content in sort of subtle but not so subtle ways. To make parodies or references to content from competing companies, the company making the reference doesn't actually need any permission. Like, think of that new Chip and Dale movie, for example. There's tons and tons of cameos in that. Like, even, I know Sonic is like an important character in it. And obviously, Disney doesn't own Sonic. Disney didn't make the Sonic movie. But, because they were making fun of Sonic, they were legally allowed to include Sonic in their movie. Even though Pibby is something dark, it's still technically a parody in the same way that that Chip and Dale movie is. So it can reference just about any media it wants if it does so in very specific ways. Like, for example, what they do in the show, just using a SpongeBob-looking background. It's not like they took that background from SpongeBob, they're just very obviously inspired by it and trying to reference it. Trailer or a pilot? A lot of people are pretty confused about the state of Pibby, especially right now after the April Fool's event, but thinking back to just the Halloween short, that's what this segment's going to be about. While the Pibby crew was trying to pitch the concept as a full series, for Halloween, the creative crew was simply hired on to create the trailer that released, in order to catch some attention and possibly gauge interest in a full series, and to just, make a pretty unique little short for Adultswim to release. Usually, TV cartoons will have a pilot episode, where a small crew will make a sample episode to introduce what a full series would be like. Like the Rock, Paper, Scissors episode of Regular Show, that was the pilot of that show. But for Pibby, instead of a usual pilot episodes that shows usually have, the crew was commissioned to create an exciting trailer. This caused a bit of confusion, because many people think that Pibby has a full episode somewhere, or a movie, but that simply isn't true, and if it is, they're actually working on that right now. To introduce the series to the public, a team of creatives only made this trailer and nothing more. So all these animated scenes in this trailer, they were animated for the trailer. They aren't actually cut up from an episode. Like, when Phineas and Ferb had that post-credit scene of a trailer for like a Chronicles of Meep episode, and then later on, they actually made that episode but had to explain that they never actually planned to make that episode. That was just a fake trailer. That's kind of what Pibby is, except they do plan to make Pibby into something, but there's no pieces of animation beyond this trailer, at least back in Halloween 2021. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if I confused you there. Character names. Through the shorts released for Learning with Pibby, we obviously know the names of, only 2 original characters actually. We know Pibby and her friend Bun Bun. But did you know that there's a leaked document that reveals the names of other new characters? I'll talk about this document in a later tier, but here I can just say that this book reveals the official names for Melria, Beta Boy, and The Darkness, all completely original characters made up for Learning with Pibby. Clearly inspired by other pieces of media, but original for this series. Episode credits. In the Pibby Halloween short, very soon after The Darkness first appears, Pibby gets trapped inside of the show's credits. And these credits are actually real. Everything displayed here are the real names and roles of people who worked on Learning with Pibby. They aren't the complete credits though. At a later point, the series creator posted a completed credits chart on his Instagram. Which leads us to our next topic. Dodge Greenlee. Dodge Greenlee is the original creator of Learning with Pibby, and he's just as mysterious as the show itself. Greenlee only has a public Instagram dedicated to his art, so he's not very talkative online like other creators are. Though of course it's important to respect his privacy. Before creating Pibby, he worked at Nickelodeon as a production assistant, then was promoted to a storyboard artist. After his work at Nick was done, he moved on to work at Netflix, Cartoon Network, and now Adultswim trying to pitch the Pibby series. He worked on shows like Sanjay and Craig, Tig and Seek, The Mighty Ones, and I Heart Arlo. Honestly, comparing the style of Pibby to the shows he's worked on, you can notice a bit of the inspiration. Though of course he wasn't the creator of these shows, just a member of the story and art teams. Friday Night Funkin mods. Friday Night Funkin is an online video game that became pretty iconic recently. It was made by a very small team for the website Newgrounds, and really helped that website become well known again. It's a very fast-paced rhythm game with a goofy cartoon style and lots of dark humor. It's almost more like a endurance test or bullet hell sort of game than it is a rhythm game. Its cute characters, unique art style, catchy music, and intense difficulty have made it a huge hit online. Another contributing factor to its success is how easy the game is to mod and customize. Hundreds of talented artists and programmers have created their own mods for the game, which lets them make their own levels and stories. Some of them are completely original works with original characters, but also a lot of them are inspired by other pieces of media. Friday Night Funkin' has some pretty iconic Learning with Pibby fan mods. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if most people discovered what Learning with Pibby is from watching someone play these mods or playing them themselves. Personally, I'm not too familiar with the modding scene for this game. I'm definitely familiar with the game, but I actually never played it myself. I think this would be an interesting thing to check out on my channel. So should I check it out in a new video? Let me know in the comments. I know it has a lot of Pibby stuff and a lot of just Cartoon Network stuff in general. And even anime stuff that might appeal to me. So, should I check Friday Night Funkin' out in a new video? Let me know in the comments. Unknown locations. While Pibby parodies a ton of different cartoons, there are some locations that appear in the Halloween short that are very hard to recognize. This could be because they're really obscure, or just because they're actually original locations. It'd be great if you guys in the comments could help us figure out what these are supposed to be. The ones apparent to me are these two. This forest scene, and this black and white old-timey cartoon world. The cartoon world seems like it's just meant to be generic on purpose to represent old cartoons in general. But, I don't know, this like street corner could be based on a specific location from something I don't recognize. Definitely looks closest to like a Felix the Cat sort of thing to me. And same with this forest. It's really detailed. I feel like it should be from something, but I totally don't recognize it. Considering George Jetson shows up here, this background could be from the Jetsons or some other like Hanna-Barbera cartoon, but most of those don't have such detailed backgrounds. Someone once mentioned that it could be from Johnny Quest, which is like a very obscure, like sort of adventure Hanna-Barbera show. That definitely seems like the style matches more so something like that, but that's pretty obscure and it's not referenced like with character designs. So it just seems like a weird thing to pick for a background. You would think they would have shown those characters, not just a background from it. So I don't really think it's that. I've had lots of comments on my analysis videos trying to help solve these things. So keep it up here, please. What series do you think these locations are from? Unknown characters. Just like the locations mentioned, there are some unknown characters that appear in Pibby. Many of them I'm sure are meant to be original, but probably have inspirations from stuff that I just simply don't recognize. So do any of these weirdly shaped characters from this big crowd seem familiar to you? Let me know. I know some people said that like the Scream character here could be from Courage, which, I mean Courage does show up here, but that seems like an obscure thing to pick from Courage. So let me know in the comments what you think some of these characters are. Pibby Scratch. There's a point in the Halloween trailer at what seems to be inside of Melena's homeworld, or at least like her home mansion or something. There's definitely like a DuckTales vibe to this. And at this point, Pibby gets a scratch on her eye. It's Pibby's first time ever bleeding or seeing blood at all, which is a really interesting, like, humanizing moment for her. I assume that after this cut, Pibby begins wearing her iconic eye patch that makes her, look cooler. But how did she get this cut? It's my theory, based on the context and the animated reaction, that Melina scratched at Pibby for whatever reason. I mean, she is meant to be a villain character of sorts, so it makes sense to think that she would be aggressive towards Pibby when first meeting her. Probably thought Pibby was annoying, honestly. Plus, she's a cat. Cats scratch people. It adds up to me. But what do you think? Pibby's teaching powers. Like in most educational kids shows, whenever Pibby is teaching the audience a new word, the word suddenly manifests above her and speaks out loud. And this cartoonish rule from Pibby's universe seems to follow her around into other cartoons. Like here when they're hiding from corrupted Finn and Jake. When Pibby emphasizes that they need to be quiet, the word quiet inexplicably appears loudly and gives away their location. This is a pretty funny dynamic, but I wonder if this is an actual power of Pibby's that will be used often, or if it was just in this scene here for like a one-off joke. But many people seem to theorize that this is like a power of hers that will come into play regularly. Honestly, right now in my head, I'm imagining like when she's doing the big showdown with the darkness, that she would use this power against it. Like I can see a visual in my head of her just saying like a really triumphant, awesome word that like grows huge and flies towards the enemy. Or something like that, I guess. I don't know, that's just a creative thought though. And that's the end of part 1 for the Learning with Pibby Iceberg. Please stay tuned to my channel because part 2 will be coming out pretty soon. I'll also be making new Learning with Pibby videos whenever the heck new Pibby info comes up. And aside from Pibby, I love talking about all my favorite cartoons. So if you want more unique cartoon discussion videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel and simply going to watch my other videos that I've already put out. Like if you're a fan of the Owl House, my friends and I made an entire podcast series reviewing every single episode. I think that's pretty worth watching, honestly. And also, I am seriously considering playing Friday Night Funkin' because it seems like something everybody would really like to watch, no matter who makes content about it. So if you want to see me play that game, seriously let me know and I'll go ahead and try it for a video and see where it goes. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please hit the like button so more viewers like you can find this video. Please consider subscribing to my channel with notifications on to see my future content, and follow me on other sites like TikTok and Twitter for special exclusives. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned for more.